So your schedule's not working, something's broadsided you, or something's just completely falling apart. Well, how do you manage your stress when these things happen? Watch closely, and I'll walk you through 3 simple techniques that are going to make the difference. Deadlines, got to get the kids somewhere, trying to finish things by a certain date, the have-tos, the commitments. Sooner or later, you're going to run into some stress. And why is that stress going to pop up? Because what you thought was going to happen within a certain amount of time isn't happening. You're out of time. Or maybe somebody else is messing with your life, but it's causing stress. All right, so how do you manage this? How do you deal with stress? How do you bring that down and so that you can literally manage yourself through the situation that you're currently in? Well, stress is because of a wind up, and to de-stress means to wind down. And if you're like me and you attempt to do a lot of things in a day, and all of a sudden the schedule gets thrown off, you fall behind, the stress can go up. And so to practice some de-stressing techniques can help you manage so that you can stay focused and still move forward and not just crash and burn and just give up on the whole entire day. So one of the first things I suggest in managing your stress is managing your hand gestures, managing your hands just by themselves. When we get stressed, these hands start moving around quickly. They start pointing. We get pretty intense with our hand movements. So the beginning process is to slow down the hand movements. If I can manage my hands, I can begin to manage my thoughts and manage my emotions. So I got to slow these hands down. The next thing I can do is I literally can use one hand to calm the other hand down. And where I find that helps me a lot is I will start squishing or massaging right here in this part of my hand or along the edge of my hand. I will just sit there and just squish it, literally grab it and just squish it, just to push out or relieve my hands of built up energy that's in it or built up emotions that are in there. Or I'll even take my hands and kind of just squeeze them together and squeeze them together just to literally work out or squeeze out the stress in my hands. So if I can slow down my hands, squish my hands, I can literally start to calm my hands, which then that signal now goes back up to my mind to be able to calm down my thoughts. And because if I can have calm hands, I can have calm thoughts. And I can begin to manage my emotions to calm those down. Now, I watch people and I see people where they go to take out their stress on their kids or their spouse or somebody else, or they traffic or something, but they try to do this external experience trying to get everything else around them to calm down before they can calm down. So you take action to calm self down. Because the more you practice this and you can manage self, well, then you can manage stress. So slow these hands down, squish, massage the different parts of your hands to just totally relax them. Okay, another one that is powerful is the ability to slow your thoughts down and literally bring yourself down different notches. And what I do is I call this the count backwards process. I drew this out on paper so you know what I mean when I say draw this out, is literally to count backwards from 10 down to 1. Because stress happened when you were amping up your energy, and this could be like the number of things that have gone wrong for the day, right? And then when you hit 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, number of things that go wrong, your stress level goes up. But what if you took a moment and you literally just paused and you began to start at 10 and to slowly count down to 0. Now, how long is this going to take? maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute. But what you're doing is you are literally in your mind using a smaller number every time you go down a notch, as though to say to yourself, I'm at a stress level 10, but I'm going to take myself down to a 9. Then I'm going to take myself down to an 8. Then I'm going to take myself down to a 7. And you literally are bringing yourself down, so the amount of stress is following the numbers. Like you're calming yourself down, taking yourself from a top level 10 of down to the 0. Now, when you go to count backwards and you start out with 10, this is what you do not do. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. That's not what it's about. Your work is to go 10, 9, 8, 7. Now notice I'm taking time between each one of these so that I can let that number set in my mind of 10. Like I'm recognizing I've reached my max. And I recognize that I'm at a 10. Then I tell myself I'm now at a 9. 9. So I'm getting a hold of the thermometer or the indicator inside that took me to a level 10, and I'm literally, in a way, giving myself instructions to come down to a 9, and then come down to an 8, and then come down to a 7. But I'm taking it downwards. So I'm moving it downwards, bringing my stress level down. Now, an added piece that you could do to this is in between each one of these numbers, take a big deep breath. You could say 10, 9, 8. Boy, if you took a big deep breath between each one of these, by the time you get to 0 or even get down to the 1, you will have calmed yourself way down. So if you took 3 seconds to say the number and then take a big deep breath, in 30 seconds, you have gotten control of yourself and moved yourself down each one of those notches. Wow, that is powerful. But it's a countdown from 10 to 1. The other part that's going to help you manage stress is your catastrophe thinking. You see, when something goes wrong and another thing goes wrong, we start to think that we're on this endless path of everything unraveling and everything's going to fall apart. And if we think that way, that everything's going to fall apart now, it actually can throw us into a level of fear. And so instead of going into a level of fear, what you want to do is you want to stop that fear story from spreading by doing the count from 10 down to 1. And that will be able to help you slow down that big fear story that was trying to start up because it's, a panic time. Be able to do the 10 down to 1 to be able to calm down your energy, calm down the story, and you use this type of language. I can make corrections. I can solve what just happened. I can ask people for help. I'm going to get through this. I have what it takes. You see, if you talk to yourself in that type of language, after you bring yourself down and you use that type of language, you now have self-control. But stress that starts to hurt people and start to, make bigger messes of things around you, that's not self-control, that's out of control. So I believe these techniques I've shared with you so far are going to help you. The beginning about how to manage your hands, count from 10 to 1, and then also to manage that story in your head, that it doesn't just run away with you and create all those big scary stories. You can manage your stress, but it does take some practice. So the next time this begins to happen and you feel your stress level starting to come up, don't wait until you hit a 10 before you start to count that down. But whenever you start to feel a little bit of this happening, you be the one to stop, and get control. And work that energy back down to a level 1 or a level 0 so it's manageable. You can manage your stress. If you've enjoyed what I've shared with you so far about managing your stress, you will probably enjoy my audio about taking chaos and putting it in order. And there's no reason why chaos ought to take over your life. Click the link below and open up and check out this audio that I have for you. And that'll help you in where you're going in your life. Next, also subscribe so that you can receive more great trainings like what you just received here.